Hello everyone, I am Baron Dipidus, and welcome to another Legend Lore chat on the Brawlhalla Lore YouTube channel. And here we got everyone's favorite sneaky little thief. If we never get Loki in this game, we have Caspian, the master thief. I give up. How did you steal the Queen's necklace? English detective. Mr. Holmes, I left all the clues you could possibly need. Caspian. Or should we say Prince Caspian? If any of you have read the Chronicles of Narnia books, there's a Prince Caspian in there, and Caspian is a prince, and anyway, I don't know if that's intentional or not. As the story goes, the Mad King of Batavia was a demanding father, and his lunacy honed his son into the greatest thief ever known. "Steal me the royal scepter of Hamburg, the nose of the Sphinx, and the beard of the Emperor of China," his father would rave, and Caspian would deliver them all. But his father's rule descended from capricious to diabolical, and when the Order of the Exalted Lion stepped in, the young prince quietly vanished. On his own, the great Caspian's showmanship and thirst for danger only grew. His theatrical heists left his targets applauding more often than calling the police. He replaced the Mona Lisa with a portrait of himself with an enigmatic smile. He stole the crown jewels of Britain with one hand actually tied behind his back. Citizens of Kiev woke up one morning to find he had somehow stolen their entire city and was now, in every legal way, their mayor. Emboldened by cheers of the people, Caspian stepped up his game. He won the Battle of Trafalgar disguised as Admiral Nelson. He won the Kentucky Derby disguised as a horse. He decided to take time for himself, and August 32nd was never seen again. In Brawlhalla, he has not slowed his larcenous ways. He disguised himself as Vrax for an entire tournament, a tournament Vrax was in. He stole Thatch's beard and replaced it with bees. He stole Cross's coin and quickly gave it back. None doubt that the great tournament is his stage now, and he's here to give them a show. Connections. I found one. Wu Shang says that Jiro is hiding behind the grand tapestry in the Great Hall as a part of the yearly hide-and-seek tournament with Kaya and Caspian. So yes, Caspian is quite the awesome thief. Another character that artists seem to love to draw, I noticed, especially paired with Lucian. By the way, I see a lot of people shipping Caspian and Lucian. Where is Lucian? Lucian is yeah. I guess because they're both thieves. I don't know, but anyway, I love Caspian Sigs. I also just realized I think those are bombs strapped to his waist. I'm pretty sure. Anyway, but yeah, so there are lots of like historical things that have been mentioned in here. Mr. Holmes up there, English detective, obviously Sherlock Holmes. So there's that. Mad King of Batavia. So I don't remember if I talked about this in the Diana episode. First of all, Diana slew the Mad King of Batavia 3 times. Once when he was human, secondly when he was a vampire, and thirdly when he was a ghost vampire. But and so who knows what Caspian is at this point? There's even a oh wait, there isn't. I thought there was a like vampire. I think there is a vampire skin of Caspian. I think it's more like a Halloween skin or something. But in any case, Batavia is a real place. Well, it was a real place. Kind of like in the Luxembourg area. It was a short-lived, I think Dutch Empire or something like that. But it was in the like late 1700s, early 1800s. And the Kentucky Derby, the Battle of Trafalgar happened in like the mid 1800s. Let me double check this here. Early 1800s. Right. But yeah, Royal Scepter of Hamburg, I thought that was like an actual like thing. Hamburg is the second largest city in Germany. But I couldn't find anything about a royal scepter from there. So, I don't know, maybe the fact that it doesn't exist is what's notable. Nose of the Sphinx, yeah. Sphinx, the famous Sphinx is missing his nose. Beard of the Emperor of China. I don't know entirely how significant a beard is to a Chinese emperor. I imagine there's something, maybe some sort of status symbol or something like that. But yeah, Mona Lisa, we know what the Mona Lisa is, a famous painting, and famous for its enigmatic smile. Like Mona Lisa just has this very subtle smile on her that the Mona Lisa painting is not even that extraordinary in and of itself. It gained notoriety when it was stolen from the Louvre Museum in Paris, and so it made headlines, and now everyone knows. Practically everyone knows about it. Crown Jewels of Britain. Now that is currently held at the Tower of London. I've been to London once before, and I visited the Tower of London. Really fascinating place. Used to be an awful sort of prison area. So it's this fascinating castle fortress sort of place. But that is also where you can see the crown jewels of Britain. All kind of in display. I remember you stand on some sort of moving walk, a flat moving escalator thing, and you kind of see all these crown jewels behind inside glass cases. Really cool, really impressive stuff. Citizens of Kiev. Kiev is a city in Russia, so there's that. Battle of Trafalgar. Now here's where things get really interesting. The Battle of Trafalgar was a naval battle between the British Royal Navy and the combined forces of the French and Spanish navies during the early part of the Napoleonic Wars. Like when Napoleon was trying to conquer Europe, basically. So it took place on October 21st, 1805 at Cape Trafalgar, Spain, just northwest of the Strait of Gibraltar, that kind of where Spain is very, very close to Africa. So the battle ended in a British victory thanks to a rather unorthodox strategy employed by Admiral Lord Nelson, who was aboard the fittingly named HMS Victory. In the Brawlhalla universe, Caspian was Admiral Nelson, so maybe I'll explain the strategy. Basically, the conventional practice for naval battles at the time was to have the opposing fleets kind of run parallel lines going in opposite directions. Think of a typical roadway with a dotted line in the middle of it, a typical street basically. That's how naval battles went, and the ships would just barrage each other with cannon fire over and over again. So this was called the line of battle. It allowed each ship to try to destroy enemy ships by firing the broadside cannons. This formation made it easier for Allied ships to signal instructions to each other. They'd be able to, like the front flag ship would be able to signal something to the ship behind it, and then that ship would signal to the ship behind that, and so on and so forth. So that's how it usually worked. Admiral Nelson, or in this case Caspian, thought of a completely different strategy that totally took the French and Spanish navies off guard. It was actually very simple. They went perpendicular. They decided instead of going parallel with the enemy lines, they would drive straight through, dividing the enemy lines into 3 chunks. This prevented, this separated and divided the enemy line so much that the French and Spanish navies weren't able to signal each other, and ultimately the British fleet was able to surround them, essentially. So Admiral Nelson's fleet was in 2 perpendicular columns, splitting the enemy line into 3 sections. I have a link to a good illustration of the strategy in the lore page of Battle of Trafalgar on the Brawlhalla lore wiki. But now we know it was really Caspian and not Nelson himself in the Brawlhalla version of Earth. So maybe that's the reason why there was such a strange plan to begin with. Caspian's like, let's run into them. Let's surround them. Let's break them up. So I don't know what Admiral Nelson actually was doing or why Caspian even wanted to do that. But there you go. I thought that was some really cool history in there. The Kentucky Derby. Now, this is an annual horse race held on the first Saturday in May in Louisville, Kentucky. It goes by other names as well. Run for the Roses, because roses are draped over the winner. Most exciting are the most exciting 2 minutes in sports, because it takes about that much time for the race to happen. So this race is the first of 3 races that make up the American Triple Crown, the other 2 being the Preakness Stakes and the Belmont Stakes. These 3 races have run every single year, in spite of the Great Depression or the World Wars, since 1875. So this is a rather large gap. The Battle of Trafalgar happened in 1805, which is around which actually that was like the to last year of the Batavian like Empire, the real world Batavian Empire. It lasted from like 1795 to 1806. But the first Kentucky Derby happened in 1875. So that's a whole 70 years. Like, Caspian must have lived a very long. Imagine, though, if his father became a vampire and then a ghost. It's quite likely that Caspian found some ways to, prolong his life as well. But yeah, how Caspian could have won the Kentucky Derby as a horse at that age is beyond me. But anyway, yeah, that's pretty much what I got there. His weapons are katars and gauntlets, which I think is very fitting. I'm gonna do training. I don't know if it's a better way to show off the SIGs of a character. I don't know if ranked is the best way, especially since it's probably not that fun to watch me lose, I guess. I don't know. I don't care either way, but yeah, here we go. So we got sleight of hand and showman's daggers. One of Caspian's Qatar SIGs is basically... Oh wait, I would love it if he was like throwing cards or something. Mort X. In any case, his SIGs are awesome. They show off. I think his SIGs more than many others show off his personality a lot more than many other Legend SIGs do. So yeah, just kind of throwing three there. I think they're cards, actually. I think you kind of see like some cards. I don't know. And so yeah, just kind of like stunning with the dagger and then getting it with the other hand, and just straight up tossing them. Like he actually throws them. Like he has bare hands for a second, but then he takes out a couple of new daggers. I love his gauntlet SIGs though. Those are kind of like his personality really shines in these. So first of all, so yeah, he kind of has a bomb behind his back, and just kind of like grabs them, and the enemy kind of like explodes. I love, this is awesome. He's just like, here you go. At your service. If there were voice lines, gosh, I would love to hear Caspian's voice lines. If there were voice lines to Brawlhalla. I know there's a mod that's been made that added Japanese and English voice lines to SIGs, but I haven't heard much about it in a while. But in any case, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And, yeah. And, and also this one. Yeah, I gotcha. Yeah. Also, the stuff left behind by the bomb, are those cards or is that shrapnel? Like, that's interesting. I don't know. There we go. Well, I think that's about it. All I got for Caspian, really. So, thank you all very much for watching, and until next time, GG, fellow lore nerds.